host of the Gridiron.
There's a kind of an article there. It kind of shows, when it says poor attendance hits marrow where it hurts the most. Now, I think in the article it talks about where it hurts the most, meaning, I believe, I'm going to read the article, where they think it hurts the most. And if you know his father, no. I mean, the Giants, I forgot what the Giants organization is worth, $7.3 billion or something like that, whatever it is. I know the Cowboys, they're like number one in I think all the teams in the world. But if you know anything about the Maras, right, what hurts them the most is right there, the heart. The fans, that means the most. It's not, they don't. I mean, the fans not showing up. The money he lost maybe in the concessions because you don't have a sold out stadium. People buying $312 beers and stuff like that. Yes, he lost some money there, of course. But I mean, the money he lost there, the amount of money he's worth. Right, if the team's worth, just say $7 billion, that means he's worth $3.5 billion because he owns half of it, right? So he's worth $3.5 billion. So if he lost, say, a couple $100,000, just saying, I don't know, if he lost $500,000, okay, that's a nice chunk of change. But I mean, you're worth $3.5 billion. I mean, $500,000 hurts, but it's the fan base. It's not the fans not showing up. That's what hurts them the most. Put a good display on the field for the fans, right? Who can keep showing up time in and time out through all this. I mean, once again, we're going through this like we have a lot of, there was the from 64 to 80, we had 2 winning seasons. It's kind of getting to about that feel. That was 18 years, right? So you figure now from 2012 to this year, and we've had 2 playoff teams. Haven't had many winning seasons either. So we're starting to get around that. I said that was 18 years there, 17, 18 years where it was like, 2 winning seasons back 64 to 80. And we're starting to get, that kind of a feel once again, And I know that was always, that hurt Wellington a lot when we couldn't put good quality product on the field, but the fans kept showing up. It meant a lot to them. And then finally in the 80s, when they started turning around, 81, we went to the playoffs. And then and Parcells took over in 83 and 84, went to the playoffs, 85 and 86. We finally won it, we're kind of rewarding the fans. Because you figured we hadn't won a championship since 56. So you go from 56 to 80, 30 years without winning a championship, but the fans kept showing up in anticipation, expecting something magical to happen every year, and of course they would always get disappointed. But so for the Maras, what really hurts the most is the heart, is the fans. Not having the fans there, not being able to put a good product on the field for the fans. But there's an article here that talks about, here we go, Giants embarrassing attendance and banners hit marrow where it hurts the most. New York season has hit a new low, and the Giants fans are making their displeasure known loud and clear. 2024 season has gone about as bad as the season can possibly go for the Giants. The product on the field is miserable enough, behind arguably the worst offense in the entire league. Big Blue, and basically they averaged 14.9 points per game going into the game. They scored 14 points. So, right. Big Blue enters Week 15 at 2-11, already guaranteed to miss the playoffs for the second straight year, and the 11th time in 13 seasons since winning their Super Bowl way back in 2011. But even worse than the on-field results is just how they've unfolded. From alienating the team's best player in Saquon Barkley, the team's new best player and rookie Malik Nabers from one baffling Brian Daboll decision after another to GM Joe Schoen's complete lack of long-term vision. It's clear that there's a huge cracks in this team's foundation that another offseason isn't going to fix. New York is in need of a total overhaul, not just a new quarterback, but a new organizational philosophy. And during their home game on Sunday against the Ravens, Giants fans made it abundantly clear that they were done supporting the team until they get it. Giants fans hate owner John Mara where it hurts the most. Giants fans have long been among the largest and the most loyal in the league, with a season ticket waiting list that numbered in the tens of thousands. But New York's incompetence over the last decade plus appears to have broken Big Blue Nation, at least if Sunday's crowd at MetLife Stadium is any indication. It's one thing for attendance to dwindle late in the lost season. This, however, is a sort of embarrassment you just hardly ever see in the NFL. Oh, yeah. There's a picture. It shows here 10 minutes before kickoff. And somebody says, haven't seen the building this empty in a long time. There's a lot of empty seats there. Oh, yeah. Yes, the team, obviously 2-12, and it was a cold and gray in the tri-state area on Sunday, but only convincing a few thousand people to sit through an NFL game is a shocking failure, one that should serve as quite the wake-up call for owner John Mara. And if that's not enough, a plane flying over the stadium ahead certainly is, according to Charlotte Carroll of The Athletic. Some anonymous fans paid for a banner reading, "Mr. Mara, enough. We won't stop until you fire everyone." It's hard to disagree with that conclusion. Daboll has shown that he can do decent work on the offensive side, particularly developing quarterbacks, but he falls short in just about every other aspect of being an NFL coach. Schoen, meanwhile, seems to have zero clue, consistently wavering between rebuilding and contending without any clear path forward to put the organization on stable footing. Even worse, this is the third different regime to have flamed out in New York after Jerry Reese and Dave Gettleman got put on the chopping block before them. At this point, you have to wonder if the one constant through all the bad football, Mara, is the one to point the finger at. Well, but he was kind of trying to this to step back, and he let Schoen pretty much do his thing. I think Mr. Mara kept always talking about he would never try to interfere or anything like that unless he thought like a person at quarterback by committee never works. Oh no. No. Oh, absolutely not. Parcells said one time, he said, if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. You need to have one quarterback, and that's your quarterback. And that was one of the things that after Parcells left. I mean, I kind of would always been. I don't know if anybody's ever asked him that question, because in 1990, right? Parcells' last season, obviously we won the Super Bowl. Trying to think what game of the season Phil Simms got injured. We started off, we were 10-0, and we lost to the Eagles, so we wound up 10-1. Then I think we played. Then we played. Okay, we played the 49ers, who were 10-1 as well. We lost that game 7-3. So we were 10-1. They were 10-2. We beat somebody. We're 11-2. So maybe it was in the 11th. Maybe it was in the 14th game of the season. That's when we lost. That's when we lost Simms. That's when we lost to the Bills. So we were 11-3. So the final 2-3 games of the season, we had Hostetler in there, but Hostetler took us to the playoffs, right? It would have been interesting to see had Parcells been around, right, in 1991, what he would have done, right, who he would have started. Because Hanley started a Hostetler. So, interesting. I wonder what's, I don't know if anybody's ever asked Parcells that. In 1991, when 1991 started, who would have been the starting quarterback? Would have been Simms or would have been Hostetler? interesting. But Hanley started Hostetler, and Hanley was only there for 2 seasons, is what it is. But yeah, quarterback by committee, never. Yeah. It was interesting though, because I believe it was 1971. I think it was the year that the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. They beat the Dolphins 24-3. And interesting, that year, Tom Landry, talking about quarterback by committee, had Craig Morton, who was a Giant from 74 to 76. We traded for him, and Roger Staubach. It was like one guy was on the field running a play, and the other guy was on the sideline. So Roger Staubach would be on the sideline, and after the one play was over, Tom Landry would turn to Roger Staubach and say, "Run this play." Roger Staubach would run on the field. Craig Morton would run off the field. Roger Staubach's running the play. After that play was over, Tom Landry would look at Craig Morton and go, "Okay, run this play." Craig Morton would run on the. They did that. I think it was 71. If it was 71, it was the year they won the Super Bowl. They had a really good team that year. Really, really good team. But no, you're right. Usually quarterbacks by committee don't work out too well. But I do know it's like with Mr. Mara, hitting him in the pocket is one thing. I mean, obviously, because he lost quite a bit of money there. That you certainly could say. But the lack of the fans in the stands, that's what really hurts him the most. As I said, if you know anything about his father Wellington, the support of the fans meant so much to him, really. Yeah. I think it was 71. Yeah, I mean, it was just, and then toward the end of the season, what wound up happening was, I think they just wound up sticking with Roger. They just wound up sticking with Roger Staubach. I think it was 71, 72. I think it was 71, but I know that they did that. I mean, I think toward the end of the season, they just stuck with Roger. And he took them to the Super Bowl, and they wound up winning 24-3. But yeah, that was just crazy. It's just crazy.